Adam Scott of Axial. Thank you very much to everyone for joining our session. I would like to get some compliance disclosures out of the way first. As I said, we're with Axial Financial Group, and we're located at 5 Burlington Woods, Suite 102 in Burlington, Mass. We offer security
Without further ado, I'll let him take over in the interest of time. So, Kurt, take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. Yeah, my name is Kurt Czarnowski. I'm currently the principal in Czarnowski Consulting. Now, for those one or two of you who may not be familiar with Czarnowski Consulting, we're an international consulting firm whose world headquarters, coincidentally, are located in the basement of my house in Norfolk, Massachusetts. But don't fear. At Czarnowski Consulting, we've been providing expert answers to your Social Security questions for well over 25 months now. Because I used to work for the Social Security Administration. I worked for them for 34 years. The last 20 years of my career, I was the communications director for Social Security here in New England, which meant I spent a lot of time coming out talking to folks about the Social Security program. And when I would begin those presentations while I was working for Social Security, I'd always start by saying, "Hi, my name is Kurt Czarnowski. I'm from the federal government, and I'm here to help you today." Well, since my retirement, I can't say I'm from the federal government anymore, but it's safe to say I can help you today. Because believe it or not, the Social Security program, now more than 78 years old. And each and every month, the Social Security Administration pays about $66 billion in benefits to more than 57 million people. And on top of that, there's another 161 million or so who are now out there working, paying into the Social Security program, and in an awful lot of cases kind of hoping, beyond hope, there's going to be something there for them down the road. And what I came to see during my time at the agency, and now that I'm out on my own, is that despite the age of the program, despite the size of the program, despite the economic impact that Social Security has in this country today, unfortunately the myths and misunderstandings that are out there about what it is, as well as what it isn't, are frankly staggering. So I was really excited to accept the invitation to spend some time with you today and talk about some of the things I think you need to know about what the Social Security program is, as well as what it isn't. And why is it acutely important these days? Simple. Baby boomers. There's about 75 million of us boomers are going to be retiring in the course of the next 15 years or so, and we're starting to wake up to the fact the retirement world staring us in the face is different than the retirement world that faced our parents and our grandparents. I was told that as the model of my father-in-law, Jack Enright, from Schenectady, New York. When Jack Enright got out of school, he went to work for the General Electric Company over there in Niskayuna. He worked for GE for 44 years, and when he walked out the door at retirement, he walked out the door with 3 things. He had a gold watch, he got a firm handshake, and he had a pension, that gold standard, that defined benefit pension, where the burden was not on Jack Enright to finance his retirement, but the burden was on his employer, GE, to provide him with a guaranteed stream of lifetime income. They did a great job at that. But for us baby boomers, as we're walking out the door, probably not going to get a gold watch. May get at best a semi-firm handshake, and for most of us, probably likely to have that defined contribution pension, 401k, 403b, 457. Whereas we walk out the door, it's not with a guaranteed stream of lifetime income, but it's with a pile of money. And the burden is on us to somehow figure out how we can make this pile of money last for what could be a 25, 30, or perhaps 35-year period of time in retirement. And so we baby boomers, we're just now starting to wake up to the fact Social Security may be a bigger part of our retirement income than we had anticipated in the past. So in our time together today, I want to give you some good information that's going to help you better prepare for your retirement. We'll talk about when you can collect the Social Security payment. We'll talk about how benefits are calculated. We'll talk about spousal benefits. We'll talk about some strategies that you may want to consider as a way to optimize or maximize your lifetime Social Security payment. And then we'll talk a little bit about the importance of working in retirement and how working impacts your Social Security payment going forward. So whole bunch of things to talk about, and hopefully, again, we'll tee you up and better prepare you for retirement, because that's what we're all looking forward to. I think the most important message, though, to leave you with today is to help you understand not just what Social Security is, but what it isn't. And from its inception, more than 78 years ago, it's never been intended to be your only source of income in retirement. It's always been intended to provide a base or a foundation of income support. You can count on being there, but it's a base of income support that you must take steps to supplement. And from my perspective, I don't care how you supplement your Social Security. That's why you want to work with the folks at Axial. But it's never intended to be your only source of income. And the sooner that people understand that, recognize that, and plan for it, more likely you are to have that comfortable retirement. And so Social Security for a while has tried to help people in this planning process by mailing out an annual Social Security statement. Hopefully it's something you're all intimately familiar with. Statements started going out in 1999. They come out to if you're 25 years of age or older, that ever paid into the program and we're not yet collecting benefits. And that Social Security statement will come out like clockwork 3 months before your birthday, provides you with benefit estimates on the retirement side anyway at 3 different ages. Age 62, your full retirement age, or 70. And it would also provide you with a very nice year-by-year breakout of what the Social Security Administration had recorded as your earnings on the program. We'll see it's important that you keep accurate track of what your earnings have been, because ultimately the payments that you collect are tied to what your work on earnings have been. So it's important to make sure Social Security's got an accurate record. Well, those of you who may have been paying attention may have noticed Social Security has stopped mailing those statements out on an automatic basis. Made that decision about a year or so ago. Cutback was done for budgetary reasons, but all is not lost. Doesn't mean you can't still get a Social Security statement. Now you get it online by going to the Social Security Administration's website, www.socialsecurity.gov/my-account, all one word, MYACCOUNT. At the My Account page, you basically do set up your own Social Security account. You register yourself with some information, and armed with that information, you can then go back in and request a Social Security statement for yourself anytime you want. You don't need to wait to just 3 months before your birthday. You can get one anytime you want, as I said. And so that's an important planning tool, again, to make sure that Social Security's got an accurate record of what your work and earnings have been, because if a mistake has occurred, it's very easy to correct. Bring your W-2 or your tax return down to your local Social Security office and then make that change, correct the earnings record, because it's important, as I said. Ultimately, what you collect in payments is tied to what your work and earnings have been, so you want to make sure it is an accurate record. But here's the thing about that statement. As I mentioned, it gives you benefit estimates at 3 ages only, 62, full retirement age, or 70. And in preparing the estimates, because Social Security has no idea what your future work plans are, they base the calculations on an assumption that you're going to keep working, making the same amount of money you've made for the past couple of years. Well, you know as well as I do in planning for your retirement, you may be interested in retiring in other than just those 3 ages, and you may also be interested in finding the impact of certain work changes on your Social Security payment going forward. I don't know how many times people have asked, well, what happens if I quit work altogether at 58, or I go part-time at 61? So another key message from me to you today as part of this planning process is to remind you that in addition to that online Social Security statement, Social Security also has an online retirement estimator. On its website, www.socialsecurity.gov/estimator, E-S-T-I-M-A-T-O-R. And the beauty of the estimator is it kind of takes that information from the statement and the words of Emeril Lagasse, kind of kicks it up a notch. Because with the online estimator, you go in there and you do work with your own Social Security work history without the need to go back and key in prior year earnings like you have to do with certain other software programs that are out there. But with the online estimator, you can now develop what-if scenarios to your heart's content. Find out, I want to retire at 63 and a half, or I want to retire at 68 or 69. You can get benefit estimates at ages other than just the 3 I mentioned. And you can also get benefit estimates based on earnings projections other than simply what you made for the past couple of years. Hugely powerful planning tool. And I encourage you to take advantage of those two planning tools that Social Security does make available to you. The online Social Security statement, most important to make sure earnings record is up to date, but with that online retirement estimator, be able to develop benefit estimates and help you plan for retirement at whatever age you may be interested in. So key part of my message today is planning is the key to all of this. Is planning for retirement, take advantage of the tools that Social Security makes available to you, designed to help you understand what the Social Security program is, but equally importantly to help you understand what it isn't. So as I go around and talk to folks today, I think the single most frequently asked question is, well, when should I start to collect my payments? So understand this, under the Social Security program, you've got a lot of choices, you've got a lot of options, and what I can do in our time together today is help you understand what those choices and those options are. But here's the thing, I'm not a financial advisor. No information about all of your other financial pieces of the pie. So in other words, what I can do is I can help you understand what you can do under the program. But I don't have information about all the other pieces of the pie, so I'm really in no position to help you decide what you should do. That's why you work with Adam and Bill and financial advisors who can help you not only take the Social Security information, but also incorporate all of the other pieces to that financial picture you put together. But let's talk about what you can do under the Social Security program. And in working through the exercise, it's important just to make sure you understand or know what is considered your full retirement age under the Social Security program. When Social Security started back in 1935, full retirement age was set as age 65 for everybody. But in 1983, Congress changed the law, increased this concept of Social Security full retirement age for anyone born 1938 or later. Now this increase has been phased in gradually over time, and these days, for a big chunk of us baby boomers, those born between 1943 and 1954, Social Security full retirement age is age 66. But under current law, it continues to increase and tops out. Anyone born 1960 or later has a Social Security full retirement age of 67. Now again, that's not your only choice, not your only option, but make sure you know what your full retirement age is based on your year of birth, because there's a lot of aspects of the Social Security retirement program that flow from having attained your full retirement age. But these days, under the retirement program, regardless of what your full retirement age is, you can actually start to draw your payments as early as age 62 if you choose to do so, or at any point in between. Excuse me. But here's the point. Think about this. Social Security, as the name implies, is social insurance. So Congress has built certain social goals into the program, and one is the hope that everyone will collect roughly the same amount of lifetime payments, regardless of when they start to draw them. And so, if you opt to start your payments before you've hit your full retirement age, because you'll be collecting for a longer period of time based on average life expectancy, the system reduces your monthly payment. For each month prior to your full retirement age that you collect a benefit, your payment's reduced by roughly 0.5%. And oh yeah, it's a permanent reduction. I don't know how many folks I've talked to over the years who mistakenly think that, yeah, I'll start early. I know I'll get less, but when I hit my full retirement age, payment will magically bump back up. Permanent reduction in your payment. Theory being you're starting earlier, collecting for a longer period of time, so you get less on an individual monthly basis, but based on average life expectancy, should all come out the same. Now, if you wait until your full retirement age, then you'll get 100% of what your work and earnings have entitled you to. We'll talk about how that gets figured in a minute. But with that social insurance idea in place, if you want to defer past your full retirement age, well, that's another option that's available to you as well. And now, if you think about it, because you'll be collecting for a shorter period of time based on average life expectancy, well, the system actually increases your monthly payment if you wait past full retirement age to start. These are referred to as delayed retirement credits. And for each month past your full retirement age, you don't draw a benefit, your monthly amounts increase by 0.2%. 0.2% per month increase translates into an 8% per year increase. Key thing is you don't have to wait a full year. You can defer for as long as you want. But the other key point is these delayed retirement credits stop accruing at age 70. You understand this under the program. Not like there's a minimum required distribution. In fact, you never have to take your Social Security benefits if you don't want to. But if you defer between your full retirement age and 70, then your monthly payment gets increased by 8% for each year that you haven't collected a benefit, but no additional increases past that. So let me give you a concrete example to illustrate what I'm talking about. We get somebody with a full retirement age of 66. We'll say at full retirement age, this person draws $1,000 per month. Now we're going to oversimplify the example. We're not going to factor in cost of living increases. We're not going to factor in any additional work and earnings. But what are the options this person has? Well, they want to start as early as age 62. Well, the way the reduction factor works out, they will get 25% less each month than they would receive if they waited till their full retirement age, meaning if they want to start collecting at age 62, they won't get that $1,000 a month. They'll get $750 per month and continuing. We'll say they wait a little bit longer, start at age 63. Well, payment will be a little bit higher at that point. The way it works out, they get $800 per month and continuing. Let's say they want to wait till their full retirement age of 66. That's when we'll get that full $1,000 that their work and earnings have entitled them to. Let's say they want to defer a little bit. Say they want to wait till age 67. Through that 1 year of deferral, their monthly payment will be increased by 8%, meaning at that point their monthly benefit would be $1,080 per month. And say they wait all the way to 70 to start. Well, with that 4 years of delay, an 8% per year increase, and it's simple increase, not compounded, they're going to have a 32% higher monthly payment at age 70, meaning their benefit at that point would be $1,320 per month. Well, let's say they wanted to wait and start at age 72. Still going to be that $1,320, right? Because there are no additional delayed retirement credits past age 70. Bottom line, folks, it's your choice, your decision. What makes the most sense for you? What are the factors you ought to be thinking about? What are the ones you know them as well as I do? What's your health like? Longevity. Do you come from a family of long livers? Or do you come from a family of short pancreases? That was a line out of Goodbye Columbus 40-something years ago. You need the money. You're going to keep working. All those factors come into play, but understand this. Social Security's done a study. Today's 65-year-olds, 1 in 4 is going to live to age 90. 1 in 10 is going to live to age 95. So you need to recognize in planning for retirement, real possibility that retirement could be a 25, 30, or 35-year period of time. And if you're one of those baby boomers walking out the door, not with a guaranteed stream of lifetime income that you can't outlive, but instead with a pile of money, it seems to me that later in your retirement, that pile of money may have been diminished somewhat, and later in retirement, your health care costs may well be higher. So it always seems to me that to the extent you can defer, it makes sense to do so to help ensure that later on in your retirement years, you will have a higher monthly income at a point when you may well need it more. But again, it's your choice, your decision, up to you. You go to the Social Security office and sit down with somebody and say, tell me what to do. They're not going to tell you what to do. They're not advisors either. That's why you work with Bill or Adam and other folks like that who can provide you advice and counsel. But again, it's important to understand the basic Social Security concept. You start early, you get less on a monthly basis. You wait longer, your monthly payment is higher. When the reduction rates and increase were set, expectation was based on average life expectancy, you'd end up with the same amount of money roughly, regardless of when you started. But hey, life expectancy is increasing. You know, if you're a 65-year-old man today, you can expect to live to age 84. 65-year-old woman, on average, based on Social Security numbers, you can expect to live on average to age 86. Life expectancy is increasing, and we really need to be planning for that going forward. So hopefully that's a helpful start anyway in helping you decide when to start to collect your payments. And understand, start as early as age 62, get that lower amount. You wait as long as age 70, you're going to maximize the increase that you'll receive. So I would say sometimes it's important to think about kind of a continuum and just decide what is the right point for you at some point in that continuum. So if the when I can collect is the most frequently asked question, I think the second most frequently asked question is, well, how do they figure out how much I'm getting anyway? Now again, Social Security gives you that benefit estimate out there, but it's important to understand that in calculating anyone and everyone's benefits, Social Security uses a formula that Congress has written into the Social Security law. It's not like a Wheel of Fortune or something where you go to the local office and spin a when wheel and a what wheel and walk out of there with your magic amount in hand. No, there is a relationship, as I said, between your work and your earnings and what you ultimately collect from Social Security. But we'll see in a minute. It's not a perfect correlation. But in calculating anyone's benefit, as I said, Social Security uses a formula. That formula has a number of steps in it. The first step in the formula is that Social Security does go back and adjust your prior year earnings for inflation, bring them up to what they are in today's dollars. They then go and average your earnings over your highest, get ready for this, 35 years of work. I don't know how many folks I've talked to over the years who mistakenly think that Social Security benefits are based on your high 3 or your last 5, like some other private public pension systems that are out there. Social Security payments tied to a lifetime of earnings, which these days is defined as your highest 35 years of work under the system. So what happens if you don't have 35 years, where you haven't contributed to Social Security, you've taken time out of the workforce to raise kids or care for aging parents or cruise to Tahiti or something like that? Well, unfortunately, there's no provision in the law to account for that. It is always your highest 35 years that are averaged, and if you don't have 35 years with something, then zeros get added in, reduces your average monthly earnings, and therefore reduces your monthly Social Security payment. Again, though, while there's a relationship between work and earnings, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's not a perfect correlation. Social Security benefits, again, it's a social insurance program, and so Congress has recognized that people in lower paying jobs are probably less likely to have a pension, less likely to be able to save, to supplement their Social Security because they need that money for food, clothing, and shelter. So the system does try and help people towards the lower end of the scale, excuse me, by replacing a higher percentage of their pre-retirement income. So for somebody who's been a historically lower earner, benefits intended to replace around 56% of someone's pre-retirement income. Somebody who's been a higher earner, yeah, they get more on a monthly basis, but if you look what the system provides in relation to what their earnings have been, it replaces a lower percentage of pre-retirement income. Oh, it replaces around 34%. But for the average worker, the key number is the Social Security payment is only intended to replace around 41% of your pre-retirement income. Again, it's that base, it's that foundation for retirement and income security, but again, it's a foundation that people must take steps to supplement because it was never intended to be your only source of income in retirement, whether you're a high earner, a low earner, or that average wage earner. Two numbers for you to think about today. 2013, the average Social Security retirement benefit being paid is $1,261 per month. $1,261 per month translates into a little over $14,000 per year. Question then comes up, well, what's the maximum benefit? Qualify that by saying for somebody at full retirement age of 66 this year who for each of the past 35 years has had earnings at or above that maximum amount subject to Social Security tax each year. That's an important point. 2013, you may have earnings of $500,000, for example, but you're only going to pay Social Security tax for the first $113,700 that you make. Excuse me, when it comes time to calculate your payment, Social Security doesn't look at that $500,000, they look only at that $113,700 or the earnings that you paid Social Security tax on. But for somebody who's had 35 years at or above that maximum amount of earnings, 2013 they get $2,533 per month, or a little over $30,000 per year. Again, it's a base foundation, good solid base and foundation you can count on, but it's a base and foundation you must take steps to supplement because, again, it was never intended to be your only source of income. Now, if I had 8 or 9 or 10 hours, we could probably go into this calculation and computation in excruciatingly painful detail. But if you want to get more information about how benefits are figured, Social Security on its website has a lot of information, www.socialsecurity.gov/ and then in all capital letters OACT, which is an abbreviation for Office of the Actuary. Give you all kinds of information there about how benefits are calculated and help everybody understands what an actuary is, I hope. Actually, somebody who doesn't have enough personality to be an accountant. Anyway, you can get information about that to help you understand, again, it's this base, it's this foundation of income support, but it's a base and foundation you must take steps to supplement. So, having talked about the when you can collect, talking about how benefits are calculated, I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about spousal payment, survivor benefits, and then talk about some strategies you might want to consider as a way couples could optimize or maximize their lifetime Social Security payments. Spousal benefits have been around since the mid-1950s or so under the Social Security program, and as a result, it's important to think the Social Security spousal benefit program basically supports the American family in the 1950s and the 1960s, which was basically personified by the Cleaver family from the TV show Leave It to Beaver. You think back to the Cleaver household, you had Ward, June, Wally, and the Beeve. Ward Cleaver, though, he was the breadwinner, came downstairs each morning, headed out the door, he went to work. Now, we don't really know where he went or what he did, but Ward Cleaver worked. June Cleaver, prototypical American housewife of the 50s and 60s, came downstairs each morning, but she didn't go to work. Best we could tell, her responsibility was to have brownies and milk available for Wally and the Beeve when they get home after a hard day of school. The Social Security program supports the Cleaver model in the following way. At his full retirement age, Ward Cleaver will get a benefit based on whatever his work and earnings have entitled him to, so we'll say he'll get $1,000 per month. Well, June Cleaver, as Ward's spouse, at her full retirement age, she's going to be eligible to collect a monthly Social Security spousal payment equal to 50% of Ward's full retirement age amount, or $500 a month that will be paid to her in addition to that $1,000 that's paid to Ward. Now, for June to collect that spousal benefit, a few conditions have to be met. First and foremost, Ward needs to have applied for benefits. Second, for June to collect that spousal payment, she has to be at least age 62. The earliest age you can collect that spousal benefit is no different than the earliest age someone could collect a retirement payment. And same principle applies. If she waits until her full retirement age, she'll get the full 50%. But if she starts to collect a little bit earlier, that monthly amount is reduced. It works out if she starts to collect at age 62, she doesn't get 50% of his full retirement age amount, she gets 35%. Again, theory being she's collecting for a longer period of time, so she gets less on a monthly basis. And the third point to keep in mind on this, her spousal payment is tied to 50% of Ward's full retirement age amount. It isn't necessarily related to the amount he's actually collecting, meaning, say Ward had come in, started receiving his Social Security benefit at age 62, so instead of getting $1,000, he was getting $750 a month. If June waits until full retirement age, her full retirement age, she's going to get a full $500 a month, 50% of his full retirement age amount, which means in this example, she's getting more than half of what he's actually collecting. But on the other hand, say Ward had waited, started to collect at age 70, so his monthly payment's $1,320 a month. June's spousal payment is still only going to be $500 a month, 50% of his full retirement age amount. Again, in this instance, she's getting less than half of what he's collecting, but it's tied to 50% of his full retirement age amount. That's the spousal program. Now let's flash forward, though, from the 50s and 60s to the 70s and 80s. Now, in all likelihood, June Cleaver would have worked outside the home, would have paid into the Social Security program on her own. We'll say Ward and June walk down to the Social Security office together. Ward gets his $1,000. Let's say June's work and earnings have entitled her to a monthly payment of $800. She gets that. And then she goes, ooh, 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 where's that magical $500 spousal payment I've heard so much about? At that point, Social Security goes, sorry, June, you can collect that 50% of Ward's or your own, whichever one is higher, but not both. And since her own $800 benefit is greater than 50% of Ward's, that's what she collects. So that spousal payment, 50% of the individual's full retirement age amount, or the individual's own, whichever one is higher, but not both. But let's say June hadn't done that much work, so her own payment was only $250. Well, she'd collect that $250 on her own, and at that point, Social Security would give her an additional $250 to bring her up to that 50% of his. So spousal benefits. A couple other points. It's important to remind folks, Social Security is absolutely, totally, completely gender neutral. Meaning, had the Cleaver family been ahead of its day so that Ward was the stay-at-home dad and June had been the primary breadwinner, then everything I talked about would be equally true, that Ward would be eligible to collect 50% of June's or his own, whichever one is higher, but not both, but spousal payments. Now, there's some good news for June in all of this, and that's if Ward dies. That's good news for Ward, but now we're talking about Social Security survivor benefits, payments to widows and widowers. And here, the basic rate is not 50%, but it's 100% of the primary worker's benefit amount. So, Ward and June, he's getting 1,000, she's getting 800. Her own's higher than 50% of his, so she's not getting a spousal payment, but he passes away. Well, her benefit as a widow is going to be $1,000 a month. She'll get an additional $200, brings her up to that 100% of what he had been collecting. Now, the important thing is she doesn't continue to collect her own and the $1,000. She collects on one account or the other, whichever one is higher, not both at once. But the key thing is, in paying that survivor payment, Social Security focuses on how much the deceased individual had been collecting. And so, let's say Ward Cleaver had deferred. He had waited until age 70 to start, so that he was collecting $1,320 per month when he passed away. Well, the good news, June's benefit's going to be increased from the $800 on her own all the way up to the $1,320 that he had been collecting. So keep in mind, in deciding when to start your own retirement payments, it's important to keep in mind that starting early not only reduces your own retirement benefit, but it reduces any survivor payment that could be made as well. And by deferring, not only is your own payment higher, but any survivor benefit that might ultimately be paid is going to be higher as well. Just another point to keep in mind. A couple of last points about survivor benefits. Survivors do have the added advantage under the program of being able to start a little bit sooner. Earliest retirement benefit or spousal payment, earliest age is 62, but widows and widowers can begin to draw as early as age 60 if they choose to do so. But again, same concept applies. You're starting early, your monthly payment gets reduced. And so if you start to collect that survivor benefit at age 60, you get 71.5% of what you'd receive if you waited all the way until your full retirement age to start to collect that survivor benefit. But the other advantage that survivors have is that they can, if they choose to do so, opt to collect a reduced benefit, say as a widow or widower, and then at full retirement age switch over and begin to collect based on their own work record. And the fact that they collected a reduced payment as a survivor does not prevent them from collecting a full retirement benefit on their own. But the key thing is you collect on one account or the other, whichever one is higher, your choice, but you don't collect on both at once. But you do have the ability to switch from one to the other at whatever point makes the most sense for you. Again, survivor benefits basic rate 100% of what the deceased individual was collecting or would have been collecting. So for example, Ward Cleaver at age 66, excuse me, opts not to collect his payments. He passes away at age 68, having never drawn a benefit. The good news is June's widow's payment will take into account the 2 years worth of delay, so she won't get 32% more than his full retirement age amount, but she'll get 16% more, and she will reap the benefit of that deferral, even though he may not have collected himself. So 100% of what the deceased individual was collecting or would have been collecting had to have been drawn payment at the time they passed away. So that's spousal benefits, survivor benefits. Quickly touch on some strategies that couples might want to consider as a way to optimize or maximize their lifetime Social Security payments. The three I'm going to talk about still exist, and there's one that's no longer in existence. We're going to talk about something called file and suspend, talk about something called claim some now, claim more later, what I call the combined strategies, and then we'll talk a little bit about what had been referred to as the Social Security do-over. But you may have heard a lot or read about a concept called file and suspend, and maybe wondering, well, how does this apply to me? Here's the thing. As I mentioned, for June to collect that spousal payment, Ward needs to have applied for benefits. She can't collect that spousal benefit unless and until Ward has actually applied for benefits. Well, under a provision in the Senior Citizen Freedom to Work Act, which was passed back in the year 2000, under the Social Security law these days, someone who is at full retirement age has the ability to come into Social Security, file an application for benefits, and then immediately ask to have their monthly payments suspended, meaning they're not going to collect anything. But by doing this, two things occur. By requesting that their payments be suspended and not collect anything, they're now going to be earning delayed retirement credits and increasing their payment going forward. But by having applied for benefits, they now trigger eligibility for a spouse. So, for example, Ward Cleaver, full retirement age. June Cleaver, never having worked, never having paid into the Social Security program. She's at least age 62. Ward wants to wait if he can. He recognizes the benefit of deferring, so he wants to put off starting his own, but he also is wondering, is there some way June can collect something while I am deferring? And this file and suspend strategy allows that. He's at full retirement age, comes into Social Security, files his application, immediately asks to have his monthly payments suspended. June comes in at the same time, files for her spousal benefit, and if she's at her full retirement age, she'll get 50% of his full retirement age amount. That'll be paid to her, even though he's not collecting anything. But at the same time, he'll be earning those delayed retirement credits, increasing his payment down the road. So again, key thing is Ward has to be at full retirement age to file and suspend. You can't come in at age 63 and request file and suspend. No, you have to be at full retirement age. For June to be able to take advantage of this, she just has to be at least age 62. She's at her full retirement age, she gets the full 50%, but if she's under that, yeah, that 50% amount gets reduced, but she's able to get something. Again, this file and suspend strategy, and the other two we're going to talk about, I sometimes equate them to Mary Poppins, in that kind of a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And the medicine in this case is Ward's deferral, giving up the immediate $1,000 he could collect at full retirement age in order to increase his ultimate payment, and ultimately the survivor benefit as well. So the spoonful of sugar, it's the ability to collect a spousal payment while he's deferring on his own. So file and suspend. Second strategy, claim some now, claim more later. Best way to illustrate this, again, Ward and June. But now both Ward and June have worked and paid into the Social Security program. And here's the key thing. June has begun to draw her benefits. All right, doesn't matter what age she's at, she's starting to collect. So Ward's got a full retirement age amount of $1,000, June's got full retirement age amount of $800, but she's collecting. The claim some now, claim more later strategy applies to Ward, who again is at full retirement age. And he's wondering, gee whiz, is there something I can do to get an immediate Social Security benefit while at the same time deferring and allowing my own payment to increase because of those delayed retirement credits? And the answer is, you betcha, as Sarah Palin would say. Now here's the thing. If Ward is under his full retirement age, comes to Social Security, he can't apply just for spousal benefit based on June's work and earnings. He's required to apply for his own benefit first, and if his own benefit is greater than 50% of hers, well, he's not doing anything, and he's required to collect solely based on his own work record. But at full retirement age, the rules change. And at full retirement age, Ward now has the ability to come to Social Security and simply apply for a spousal payment only. He restricts the scope of his application to that spousal benefit. By so doing, he's not applying for his own retirement benefit. By doing that, he's going to earn those delayed retirement credits going forward. But by applying for a spousal payment, he'll be able to get an immediate $400 Social Security spousal benefit, 50% of June's full retirement age amount, while he is deferring and increasing his own ultimate lifetime payment. Again, spoonful of sugar helping the medicine go down. Key thing is, June is collecting. One member of the couple has filed and is collecting. The other member of the couple has to be at full retirement age to file for just a spousal payment. You can't come to Social Security again at 63 or 64 and apply just for a spousal benefit. No, you're required to apply for your own first, and if it's higher than anything you do as a spouse, you just collect based on your own work and earnings. But again, full retirement age, you can apply for just the spousal payment, get that money while your own is increasing going forward. Kind of neat. Third strategy, what I call the combined strategies. In this case, again, Ward and June both have worked, both have paid into the system. Both Ward and June have attended a Czarnowski consulting seminar. So both of them are sitting there saying, I want to wait, somehow increase my payment if I can. Is there some way we can get some excuse me, Social Security payments while we're doing this? And this combined strategy allows that in the following way. Again, key thing is both of them have to be at full retirement age. Ward comes in at full retirement age. He files and suspends. So again, he's not going to get anything, but his $1,000 full retirement age amount now going to be increasing by 8% per year going forward. June has to be at full retirement age. Same time, comes in. She applies for a spousal benefit only, meaning she's not going to collect on her own account. So her $800 benefit also going to be increasing by 8% per year going forward. But by applying for that spousal payment, she gets an immediate $500 per month benefit, 50% of Ward's full retirement age amount. Well, the question is, can they cross-collect off one another, just collect spousal benefits? No, you can't. You can cross-dress, but you can't cross-collect. One has to file and suspend. One has to file for spousal benefits only. Now, you can work it either way. It doesn't matter which one files and suspends and which one files for spousal benefits only. But if you're interested in this, you probably want to have the higher earner file and suspend, have the lower earner file for spousal benefits only, because that means you get 50% of a higher amount immediately being paid. But you could do it the other way if you wanted to. But this combined strategy, again, both members of the couple have to be at full retirement age, but it allows some Social Security payments coming in. Now, in this case, while both members are deferring earning delayed retirement credits, increasing their own retirement benefit. What's the difference between this one and the previous one? Again, that claim some now, claim more later. One member of the couple is collecting based on his or her own work record. In this combined strategies, neither member of the couple is collecting. They're both deferring on their own. Then I quickly want to mention one strategy that's no longer in place. Social Security had, excuse me, there's been a lot written about the Social Security do-over, which flowed from the fact Social Security always had in place a process, but if somebody changed their mind, they could come to Social Security, withdraw their application, pay back the money they had collected, and start from scratch going forward. And the key thing was Social Security never charged interest, simply refunded the principal. So what arose as a strategy was a recognition that you could have somebody, for example, come in, start to collect at age 62, collect that $750 a month, collect, 8 years later at age 70, come back to Social Security and go, hey, I changed my mind. I want to undo what I'd done 8 years ago. Social Security go fine. They figure out how much they had collected during that 8-year period. Person refunded simply the principal, no interest charged. They could start from scratch. Following day, and their benefit rate would be $1,320 going forward. What Social Security, in essence, would have been doing was giving somebody an interest-free loan for this 8-year period. That struck the Commissioner of Social Security as wrong somehow. So the rules were changed at the end of 2010, excuse me, which greatly limits your ability to withdraw and refile. You now have to do so within 12 months of becoming entitled to benefits, and you can do so only once in a lifetime. But it's important to remind folks that even though this do-over has kind of gone away, and probably more properly referred to as the no-can do-over, it's still possible for somebody who is at full retirement age to come to Social Security and ask to have their monthly payments suspended in order to earn delayed retirement credits. So you start collecting at age 62. You hit your full retirement age and you realize, you know, I made a mistake. I probably should have waited. I need a higher benefit. Well, you can't withdraw and refile anymore because you've been collecting for more than just 12 months. But it is possible for somebody at this point to go into Social Security, ask to have their monthly payments suspended, and earning those delayed retirement credits will increase their monthly benefit by 0.2% for each month going forward. And you have the ability to earn those delayed retirement credits for up to 4 years or until age 70. So while you can't withdraw and refile anymore, you can, at full retirement age, ask to have your payments suspended in order to earn those delayed retirement credits going forward. Last thing, then we'll open it up to questions, has to do with the importance of working in retirement. People, baby boomers, I think we're going to want to stay connected to the workforce somehow, maybe not traditional full-time roles, so it's important to understand how working impacts your ability to collect. The good news is, if you're at your full retirement age, you can work and earn as much as you want without any reduction in your Social Security monthly payment whatsoever. But if you're under full retirement age, you're limited in how much you can work and earn before it begins to impact your ability to collect. This year, 2013, you're allowed to make up to $15,120 without any loss of benefits. Make over that $15,120 doesn't mean you can't collect it all, but Social Security holds back $1 in payments for each $2 that you're over. And this restriction applies if you're under full retirement age, whether you're collecting your own retirement benefit, a spousal benefit, or a survivor benefit. Now the question is, what counts towards that $15,120? Two things only: wages or net income from self-employment, earned income. The whole wide world of unearned income, a VA benefit, General Motors pension, 401k distributions, none of that counts towards that $15,120 threshold. Now people frequently ask, if I go back to work while I'm retired, I don't have to pay Social Security tax on my earnings, do I? Well, you do. If you're in a job covered by Social Security, you're going to pay FICA tax. Good news for Social Security, because frankly they need the money. But there's potential good news for you in this as well. Because as I said earlier, Social Security looks at your highest 35 years of work and earnings in calculating the amount of your payment. So even if you're in retirement and you're working and your earnings are higher than the lowest of the 35 years that Social Security had been using to compute your benefit, well, the good news is Social Security drops out that low year, plugs in the new year, results in a benefit increase for you going forward. And bit of good news is this ability to increase your payment through additional work and earnings continues forever. We talked about those delayed retirement credits stopping at age 70. Well, this ability to increase your payment through additional work and earnings continues forever. Now, other thing to keep in mind is this work and earnings never hurt you. They can only potentially help you. Because again, you work, have a low-paying job, earnings are lower than the lowest of the 35 years, so what happens to your Social Security benefit? Nothing. Continues at the same level. So this ability to work and earn can only help you going forward. So keep that in mind, important concept. This ability to work and earn can always increase your payment no matter how old you are. All right, like Lady Godiva, I must come to my close. Just to wrap up, hope it's been helpful, and we'll take some questions, but just a reminder, Social Security provides this base, this foundation of income protection. You can count on being there, but it's a base of income protection. You must take steps to supplement. Doesn't matter how you do it, but the sooner you start to plan for your future, work with Bill or Adam or the other folks there, find ways that you can supplement Social Security, you're going to be better off in the long run and more likely to enjoy that long, safe, secure, comfortable retirement that all of us aspire to. So we've got about 12 minutes left. Be happy to open it up to any questions that might be there. Mihai?
Thank you very much, Kurt. I appreciate it. Before I open it up to questions, just to sort of avoid kind of a bottleneck, on your dashboard, for those of you that are logged in through the web link, you will see a little hand icon. If you want to raise your hand, I will unmute your microphone, and you'll be able to ask your question. If, for whatever reason, you are having problems with your microphone, whether it's through the phone or through the web, you have the option of typing in a question, which I'll be happy to read out loud for Kurt. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions at this point. Go ahead, Stephen and Sarah.
Hello? My question is, if I retire at 65, I can only make $15,000 a year. But after I become 66, can I make as much as I want?
Absolutely. Good point. So you retire at age 62, 63, you're under your full retirement age, yeah. you are limited in how much you can make each year. But as soon as you reach your full retirement age, earnings no longer matter. You can make as much as you want and receive a full Social Security payment each month in addition to what those earnings are. And it isn't, and that applies whether you had started collecting early or whether you waited till full retirement age to start. So absolutely, under full retirement age you're limited, but when you hit that full retirement age, earnings cap comes off. You can make as much as you want going forward.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. You got a great voice there. It's the big, deep basso profundo. I like that.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, well, I'd like to take this moment to thank everyone for attending. One quick point, we have recorded the session, so there will be a replay. We will make an announcement and inform every one of you once that replay is up on our website. And I would like to thank Kurt for taking the time to talk to us today about this great important topic.
So is it going to be available through iTunes?
There will be, that's a good question, which I don't know on the exact format. It will be available on our website.
I was joking.
Okay. Thank you, Kurt. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone.